conference, okay? That's going to take time. You know, we're going to develop a relationship. It'll take time. It's built on trust.
Trust.
It's built on how we go to work every day. It's built on the things that we as a standard within this program. Look.
Did you hear that? This is what he told the kids at Notre Dame all year that went 10-1 under his regime. 10-1. Headed to the playoffs. They're ranked 5th or 6th. You couldn't do any better if you're Notre Dame. You couldn't want for any more if you're an honorable coach. But this is the skata marigani, as we say in Greek, that's produced by modern American society. This little chubby bullshit artist, I'd like to see this guy in a scrimmage. I really would. I don't know how guys like this, these non-specimens, get to be the top of the food chain. How does that happen? How does that happen? Little pink-skinned, chubby white guy that couldn't run a 40 under 2 days. He's going to talk about commitment. He's going to talk about He's going to talk about program. This bullshit artist at $15 million a year. Because you know what he produces? Hot air. Hot air. It ain't the X's and O's, it's the Johnnies and Joes. So he ran down to Baton Rouge to be with the biggest, baddest black athletes he could sidle up to. After 10 years of mental masturbatory nonsense at Notre Dame, and our culture, and how important the team is, and God forbid any player jumps the transfer portal or decides to go to another school. And at Notre Dame, let me quote Lou Holtz, all those players that go to Michigan weren't smart enough to get into Notre Dame. Well, I never saw a coach at Michigan do what this creep did. This guy's a pathological creep. Okay? And I have no excuses for Coach Riley running the USC either, because it was all about their money. $100 million, $6.5 million home, his private jet. They paid for his houses in Norman, Oklahoma. Higher ed, higher education. We do it for the kids. Isn't that what they say? But wave the money around and pum, they're gone. And all the Kirk Herbstreits, all of them talk about, well, if someone gave you $100 million. Yeah, because, you got to go from $6.5 million for jerking off to $15 million a year. The country's in a depressed state. We have record bankruptcies because of college loans. And this is the perversion that's equivocated every day in the name of sports. Oh, and the NCAA doesn't have any power anymore. And now we have this new rule where players could make a little money on their name. Oh, Jesus, that's ruined everything. God forbid that some of the drippings should land on top of the heads of the players. And these bullshit artists will tell you it isn't them. My success was due to the players. My success. Why ain't the players getting any of that $15 million? How come, Brian Bullshit? How come? Oh, you missed the field goal. You're number 2. Thought I was Irish, but I'm LSU. Hey, Brian, fuck you. That's what I say to you, and you're a traitor. That's what this is, flat out treason. This is what Benedict Arnold did. Hey, Ben, you lost a leg. You kicked our ass at Saratoga, said the English. But why don't you come over to the right side? We'll pay you a commission much better than George Washington. And so he did. So him and his Philadelphia concubine of English descent, and he ran to merry old England. Cheerio. And for 260 some odd years, we talk about Benedict Arnold, just like we talk about Judas, just like the Greeks talk about Ephialtes, the traitor at Thermopylae, who led the Persians down the Esopus Pass. Yeah, traitors are wonderful people. The one I kiss is the one called Jesus. And this from a coach at Notre Dame. So all you suckers that want to pontificate about the glory of the Fighting Irish, Remember this Irishman, Brian Kelly, living up to the standard of all Irish in the history of the world. Listen to Van Morrison's song, They Sold Me Out. Chippo, you wouldn't go to the constabulary. Chippo, you wouldn't sell us out. Right? See, I'm of Spartan Greek ancestry. I couldn't live with myself if I was this rat. I'd be happy with the $6 million in my honor in place. But not this douchebag. This douchebag who's going to pollute the minds and the skulls of mush of young lads. But watch, right back into his old diatribe. Team, team, team. Honor, commitment, sell out, buy in.
Let me tell you why I'm here.
Here we go.
I'm here because I wanted to coach the very best players in the country that are afforded the best resources in the country and play in the best conference in the country.
That have no academic standards, that let functional illiterates get a degree because they're the best players in the SEC. That's the legacy of most of the schools in the South. Sorry, pal, it's the truth. 95% of those ball players he's speaking to would not even get an admissions letter from the University of Notre Dame. But why should that matter? Because they're all on scholarships and they're all athletes. Say it out loud. We's athletes. AFFLEETS. Athlete. And we Southmos. And we can conjugate a verb. You know, like they's always do. Oh, do I sound harsh? Well, what do you think's going to fix racism? I'll tell you, education. I'll tell you, demand excellence from the people that have been left behind by the society. Stop patronizing them and telling them, well, you's all too stupid. Yous can't figure it out. Get what you can. Get what you get. Lordy. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. So the permanent underclass gets served up again. And little chubby white guy gets the $100 million prize. But he's going to talk about team. Now, how many of those athletes in his past will he sup with? How many?
That's an incredible challenge to a football coach. And I get that here, and I get a chance to work with the best athletic director, president, all in alignment to get to the end of winning a national championship.
Do you hear that, Jack Swarbrick? Do you hear that, president of Notre Dame? You were shit. Now that he's moved on, you were shit. Because, you know, Notre Dame doesn't produce great citizens, right? They don't produce par excellence in academia. Their athletes are something to be proud of. They're literate. They speak. You can't tell the blacks from the whites the way they speak. And that should be shunned in the name of a trophy. You bullshit artist, you ain't there to win championships. You're there for your $100 million. And the glory of your trophy will be for you and not for any kids, not for any football players. It'll be about you. You broke Knute Rockne's record at Notre Dame. You're the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. If that's what you were driven by, being excellent, you would be happy. But no, alas, you're a whore. You went for the money. You humiliated the program in Notre Dame, and you disgraced all those poor kids that put their faith in you. Well, here's what I got to say. If putting faith in guys like this matters, fuck faith. Go on evidence that demands a verdict. Hey, Kelly, I called Notre Dame when I saw you your first year dropping F-bombs all up and down the sidelines. And I spoke to a chancellor at ND and I said, you're a Catholic Christian university. This guy should not be the face of your program. This guy's repugnant. This guy's everything Notre Dame should not stand for. And if winning is the price, well, God help you. Because I say, celebrate Judas, because he got the 30 pieces of silver. Jesus got crucified. But we're celebrating Judas in America today. I'm done. College football can go to hell, like pro sports, that every one of my friends we don't watch anymore. And now you've done it to this. The last bastion of amateur sports is destroyed because of pigs like this. This guy looks like a pig. I'd love to shove an apple in his mouth and baste him with barbecue sauce. That's what he looks like, a pig on a spit. But he's a winner because he got the big prize. He got the $15 million. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, people, but I'm not a fan of this.